If you're a health or wellness professional and you feel invisible in the sea of all the other coaches saying the same things, you're going to like this video because I'm going to show you the exact formula to help you stand out even in a crowded market. In case you're new to me, I'm Nicole Piper. I used to be an entertainment executive. I helped build brands like MTV, Nickelodeon, and Pokémon into global mega brands. Now I use my Fortune 500 experience and the advanced copywriting skills I learned from one of the world's top health copywriters to help health and wellness professionals build profitable coaching businesses. Now you've probably been told to focus on your story or to create a personal brand, including things like getting a photo shoot, picking your colors, and developing your Instagram aesthetic. And look, I'm not saying those things don't matter. Some parts of those approaches are relevant, but they're not the things that are really going to make a difference or the biggest impact in your ability to attract new clients. The truth is, when someone is desperately searching for help at 2 a.m. because their gut pain is keeping them awake, they don't care about your brand colors. They care about one thing only, and that's, can you actually solve their problem? They're probably fed up and disheartened with all the time they've wasted trying different things that haven't helped. They're looking for someone who can actually solve their problem. So if you want to stand out, you need to think about this differently. You need to become what I call a category of one. And there's a specific 3-part formula for doing this. Let me walk you through it. So the first part is fill the gaps. You want to find things the market wants but isn't getting, because here's what most coaches miss. They create offers based on what they think people need and not what people are actually searching for. So finding the gaps involves doing some really deep research. You want to look at things like, in what ways are people dissatisfied with the other options out there? What are other coaches missing? What gaps exist that you can fill? You need to understand what problems people are desperately trying to solve, what they've already tried that didn't work, and what they're still looking for, and where other coaches are falling short. That means you also need to know your competition. So what are they offering? How are they positioning themselves? What are they promising? Because when you understand the landscape, you can create an offer that fills in the gaps and addresses the needs of the market that aren't being met. But the bottom line is this: you can't stand out if you're offering the same thing everyone else is offering. You need to find gaps first and create an offer that fills them. Okay, so now you've identified the gaps and created an offer that fills them, but you need the second part of the formula if you want to stand out. This one is the most powerful part of the category of one formula, and that's about creating relevant uniqueness. This is where you position your offer in a way that makes you the obvious choice for the people you want to help. Now, I just want to be clear about something here. Relevant uniqueness is not about your personal brand. It's about your offer. It needs to be relevant to your audience and the problem they have. And that's about showing people you have a unique approach to solving it. This is how you need to position your offer and how you need to talk about it. And there are 3 ways to do this. First, you need to help people see their problem in a new light. Like maybe they think their fatigue is just from getting older, but you need to help them see that it's actually their gut microbiome, for example. That kind of reframe changes everything. So most people don't actually understand why they have their problem, at least why they really have the problem. They may think they do, but they often don't. And that's why they've been trying things that haven't gotten them results. So your job is to educate them. You want to help them understand the real reason they have this problem. Give them a fresh perspective on it. Share discoveries you've made that they've never heard before. This does a few important things. First, it releases them from any guilt they may have about having the problem. Second, it explains why they haven't gotten results from the other things they've tried. Third, it gives them hope that this time they'll finally get results. And fourth, it positions you as the expert who understands this problem better than anyone else. All right, next you need to address their resistance. People are going to have objections to working with you. They're going to have doubts, and they're going to wonder why your approach will really work for them. So you need to know what those objections are and address them head on in your marketing. For example, one of my clients, Susan, is a physical therapist who helps people get out of pain. But she has an obstacle to overcome with people, and that she delivers everything virtually. And that immediately triggers skepticism. Many people will have a hard time believing that they can get results over Zoom. They can't imagine that someone can help them out of pain without actually doing something physically to them. So we address that resistance directly in her webinar. We explain why virtual therapy actually gets better results than hands-on therapy. We show them the science behind it, and we give them proof. That's addressing their resistance. And third, you need to create a signature system. Your signature system is a marketing message. It's not the steps in your program. When it's done right, it's a powerful way to show people how you'll get them results. So you want it to be outcome oriented. This is much stronger than having a plain roadmap. and it will help people get excited to work with you. Let me give you 3 keys to making this happen. First, we just talked about how people will have objections. So you can include steps in your program that overcome those objections. For example, if people object to dieting because they always end up dealing with cravings, one of the steps can be about controlling cravings. If people have any doubts about trying your solution, address that resistance in your system. Another key element is to create steps that address specific parts of the problem that you revealed in your discoveries. This shows your depth of knowledge. And finally, make the steps transformational, not informational. Don't just teach them what to do. Show them how they'll transform as they go through your process. When you do this right, it helps get people excited and they see you as the obvious person to work with. Now, you might be wondering where you'll communicate all of this. Well, my favorite way is in a webinar or a masterclass. These give you the time and space to change how people perceive their problem. You can educate them, address their resistance, and present your signature system. And you can show them why you are the best person to help them. So relevant uniqueness is about positioning your offer and showing people the unique approach you use to help them solve their problem. This is the most powerful part of the category of one formula because this is where it gets people to see how you and what you do, your program, are different. Okay, so we filled in the gaps, we've created relevant uniqueness. Now we get to the third part of the formula, and that's where you share your story. Remember at the beginning of this video when I said coaches are told to focus on their story and personal brand? Well, this is where that actually comes in, but only after you've done the first 2 steps. Your personal story matters, but it matters after you've shown people that you have an offer that fills a gap and a unique approach to solving their problem. So what goes in your personal story? Well, ideally things about your story that reinforce why your approach is different and can get them the results they want. Let me give you my own example. So my story reinforces my unique positioning. I spent almost 30 years as a Fortune 500 marketer. I'm not a health coach who pivoted to teaching marketing. That's a different perspective right there, right? Then I apprenticed with one of the world's top alternative health copywriters. There are only about 20 people in the world who've completed his entire apprenticeship. So that gives me exclusive expertise in health and wellness copywriting. I've also worked with over 1,000 health and wellness professionals, specifically on their positioning and lead generating funnels. So I bring both Fortune 500 expertise and rare health copywriting skills combined with deep experience in this exact market. And that makes me unique in a way that's valuable to my clients. And there's also my lifestyle and values. I left the corporate world because I wanted to create a business that aligns with my passion for natural health and wellness. And like many of my potential clients, I wanted to create a business that allows me to work when I want, where I want, and with whom I want. And the business I've created now allows me to spend 2 to 3 months traveling every year, which I mostly spend in France, which is where I am now. And that's because this is a country and a culture I'm very connected to. And that's become part of my brand. So my story shows people why I'm qualified to help them and what kind of business I help them build. One that gives them freedom and will support the lifestyle they want to live. Now, there are different ways people can apply the category of one formula. Let me show you how all 3 parts of the formula came together for Susan. I mentioned her earlier in this video. So she helps people who've been dealing with joint and muscle aches and pains when they move. Now, there are a lot of health and wellness professionals who have offers to help people out of pain like that, right? The market is saturated. So when I started working with Susan, I dove deep into what she does, and I saw that she has a unique approach that actually fills a gap in the market, and it's backed by scientific research. In fact, Susan initiated a study that proved the effectiveness of her approach. This was just one of the factors that gave her powerful credibility. We then crafted compelling messaging to position her offer in a really intriguing way, and a signature system that shows people how she retrains their body away from pain. There was so much more about her 30-plus years helping people out of pain that we could use to create her category of one. And because we positioned her as a category of one, someone with 30-plus years experience, scientific research backing her approach, and a unique system that fills market gaps, people gladly invested $5,000 and more to work with her. So let me recap the category of one formula. And notice the order here because the order matters. The first part is to fill the gaps in your market. Know your competition, understand where people are dissatisfied, and use that intel to create an offer that addresses needs that aren't being met. The second part is to create relevant uniqueness. Position your offer in a unique way. Help people see their problem in a new light. Address their resistance and create an outcome-focused signature system that shows your unique approach. And the third part is to to share your story, your background, your qualifications, your lifestyle and values, ideally in a way that resonates with your ideal clients. This helps people connect with you as a person. When you do these 3 things in this order, you won't just stand out, you'll get people excited about taking the next step with you. Now, I know this is a lot to digest, and you might be wondering exactly how to implement this for your specific situation. And here's how I can help. I write about these strategies regularly in my Substack newsletter, Be a Profitable Health Coach. There are already dozens of articles in there that you can access for free, full of tips and insights on positioning, messaging, offer creation, and marketing strategies that actually work. The link is in the description below. So subscribe and start reading today. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what's the one thing that makes your approach unique. I'd love to hear from you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.